Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the easiest and fastest way on how to cut and sew a simple crop top with V-shaped bare sleeve. If you are new here, please subscribe and click notification bell to get notified whenever I upload new videos. So this is my African print, popularly known as Ankara fabric, that I'm going to use to achieve this style. I used 1.5 yards to achieve this style. I am going to start with drafting my pattern. I'm going to draft the pattern for easy understanding. So the next thing I'll do is to mark my starting line. I'll come down by 1/2 inch and draw my straight line to mark my starting line. After that, the next thing I'm going to do is to take my neck width measurement. My neck width measurement is 3.5 inches and I'll mark my 3.5 inches. I'll also come down and mark my neck depth. My neck depth will be 4 inches. I'll mark my 4 inches and use my curve rule, my French curve, to take my curve. But you can also use your free hand to do this. After that is done, the next thing I'll do is to mark my shoulder measurement. My shoulder is 8 inches. I'll mark my 8 inches. Then I'll also come down to take my armhole depth. My armhole depth will be 8 inches. My armhole will be my shoulder divided by 2, or you can divide your bust by 6 plus 1.5 inch and you get your armhole measurement. After my armhole, I'm going to measure down 10 inches for my bust line, and since my blouse is a crop top, I'm going to use 18 inches for my blouse length. After that is done, I'm going to draw a straight line to mark my measurement. This first line is for my armhole depth, which will also serve as my chest line. This second line is for my bust line. Then the third line will be for my blouse length. I'm going to add 1 inch for my sewing allowance. I love adding sewing allowance to my pattern before transferring to my fabric because you might forget, and once you forget, you just mess up all your outfits all together. So now I'm going to draw a straight line to connect my armhole depth this way. After that is done, I'll go to my armhole and look for my midpoint and I'll mark it, which will be 4 inches. Then I'll go to my shoulder and I'll come down by 1 inch to mark my shoulder slope. After that is done, I'll place my ruler to connect my line from my neck width to my 1 inch to form my shoulder slope. After that, I will go in at the midpoint of my armhole by 0.5 inch, then I'll mark. Then on my chest line, I'll mark my bust divided by 4, which will give me 8.75. That is 35 divided by 4 will give me 8.75. Then I'll use my curve rule and connect from my shoulder line to this 0.5 inch. Then from this 0.5 inch to my bust measurement this way. After that is done, I'll come to my bust line and also take my bust measurement, which will be 8.75. I'll mark my 8.75. Then I'll come to my blouse length and I'll take my waist measurement on my blouse length. My waist is 33. 33 divided by 4 will give me 8.25. Then I'll mark my 8.25. On my armhole, I'm going to add 2 inches sewing allowance. I love adding my sewing allowance because it is best you add your sewing allowance on your pattern so you don't make that mistake of not adding sewing allowance on your fabric. So I'm adding my sewing allowance 2 inches on all my lines. Then I'll connect. After that is done, the next thing I'm going to do is to take my armhole for my back. This 0.5 inch that I went in to mark is for my front armhole. So I'm going to take my back armhole now. I'm just going to connect this way. Just do exactly what I'm doing and you get the same result. So for clarity's sake, I'm going to label the line. The first line is my chest line, the second line is my bust line, and the last line is my blouse length, then my sewing allowance. So the next thing I'll do is to cut. After I cut, then I'll transfer my pattern to my fabric. So I am done cutting the back. I cut the back first because of my armhole. Then I added 1/2 inch on my shoulder and 2 inches on my length. After I'm done with the back, I'm going to trim the armhole for the front. I'm going to take that 0.5 inch out, then I'll place it on another fabric and cut my front, and do the same thing for the front. After that is done, I'm going to cut my sleeve. I'm going to place my basic sleeve on my fabric. If you don't know how to cut your basic sleeve, I'll drop the link on my description box so you can learn it. So I placed my basic sleeve on my fabric. My fabric is folded into two with a width of 12 inches. You can have as wide as you want, but I'm going to use 12 inches for my width. So I'm going to mark my 12 inches width. Then on my armhole, I'll add 1 inch for sewing allowance. Then I'll draw a triangular line shape from that 1 inch down to my 12 inches. So that is how you draft your bell sleeve. The next thing I'll do is to cut. So I am done cutting my bell sleeve. The next thing I'll do is to take my V-shape design on my sleeve length. So I'll place 1.5 inch on my sleeve length and I'll mark my 1.5 inch. Then I will slant from that 1.5 inch down to the end of my sleeve at the other side. So that is all for cutting of my crop top and my V-shape bell sleeve. The next thing I'm going to share with you now is to show you how to join them. So the first thing I'll do for my joining is to pipe my neckline. We have 3 ways of piping neckline. You can use your lining, you can use the fabric to pipe your neckline, you can also use your bias. So I'm going to be using bias for this particular tutorial because it's going to be the fastest. So I'm going to place my bias this way on the right side of my Ankara fabric. Then I will stitch around. Then after I stitch around, then I will turn it on the wrong side. Then I'll fold it down and stitch it. So I've done the same thing for both the front and the back of my blouse. The next thing I'm going to do is to join the front and the back together. So I'm going to place them right side facing right side. Then I will stitch the shoulder. I will stitch the shoulder and also stitch the both side of my blouse. After that is done, I'll give the blouse a good press. Then I will join my sleeve. So in order to join my sleeve, I'll place the center of my sleeve. You can see the line, the center of my sleeve, and also my shoulder line. I will place it. You can also notch the center of your sleeve so you don't make mistake. I'll place it, then I'll stitch round. While stitching, I left at least 1 inch on both sides of my sleeve. If you remember, I gave 1 inch for sewing allowance, so I left that 1 inch. So what I'm going to do now, on that 1 inch, I'm going to stitch down from that part. I'll keep on stitching 1 inch straight to the end of my sleeve. So guys, I'm done and I've given the cloth a very good press. As you can see, it's looking beautiful. Thanks for watching to this point. Please don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell to get notified whenever I upload new videos. Thank you, thank you, thank you.